Hello and welcome to my channel. I guess I'm just gonna jump right into it. This is something new that I want to try. I've actually been wanting to do it for a few years now and I'm just now getting to it. I feel like I get a lot of questions in my day-to-day life about my paranormal experiences, so I kind of just wanted to film a video about it, or multiple videos about it actually. I have a lot of experiences and I kind of want to make this a little series of just my paranormal story times. It's something that I watch regularly on YouTube, so why not put it out there into the universe myself? This is pretty much just going to be a story time, and I'm going to preface this by saying if you don't believe in this, you don't have to. That's fine. I don't need any negative comments. This is just my personal experiences, my personal beliefs on it, but I just wanted to share. I literally watch paranormal story times and paranormal investigations and ghost stories and true crime and all of these things literally probably every day as I'm doing my makeup. And I've always wanted to do this, so here goes nothing. So I guess I'll also preface that I am extremely sensitive to the paranormal. More so in, I can walk into a room and sense if something is present. I can sense if there's negative energy, and I just get a really, really heavy feeling in my chest, and that's something that's happened to me since I was a child. And even as a kid, I just wasn't really sure about it. I would sneak off to the library and rent books about the paranormal and ghost stories, and I've always watched the shows, and this is just my personal life experiences. I have two of my most recent stories. I'll probably just start with my most recent, and then each video maybe just talk about one or two different life experiences going back in time. As of recent, I took a girls trip with my babes Angelica and Gabby. Insert cute photo of us here. They were going on a trip to go see Chelsea Wolfe, and they were going to Savannah, and, well, technically they were just going to Atlanta, and we wanted a halfway point and somewhere cool to stay, and I was honestly just tagging along to go on a road trip. I wasn't personally going to Chelsea Wolfe, so I just wanted a little girls trip, you know, with my friends. Always wanted to go to one of the haunted inns or haunted hotels in Savannah, and Savannah was like the perfect halfway point for us. I searched and looked up the most haunted places in Savannah that you could stay. We stumbled upon the Foley House Inn, I believe is what it's called. This place was amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. Whether you like haunted things or not, it's just beautiful. Everyone that worked there was wonderful, and honestly it was affordable. Side note, I'm sorry if I'm in and out of focus in this video because I'm trying to figure out my camera. Some history on the Foley House Inn was that during some renovations they discovered human remains within the walls. Or they have not found out who the remains belong to, but they do think that those remains are one of the ghosts that haunt the Foley Inn. And they call him Wally because they found him in a wall. Clever, right? It was the first bed and breakfast in Savannah, and it was owned by Miss Foley herself, and she is also known to walk the halls of the Foley house. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Foley. I'm gonna say Foley. There is a huge portrait of her that is extremely creepy. I'll insert another photo of it here. I'll try to. And she's known to walk the halls. I honestly didn't feel anything negative going into this place. I definitely did feel that there was something, but I didn't feel that it was a bad energy. So I wasn't afraid, but I knew there was something there. But also this place was just gorgeous. You could tell it has history. You can tell that a lot has happened within these walls. So we get here, and honestly a bunch of hearses from the ghost tours kept stopping out front because it is a part of the ghost tour, which was really cool. We didn't actually take one of the ghost tours, we just kind of researched upon ourselves and just tried to figure out and feel what we could. So we check in, and there is this very sweet old man. His name is Chuck. So we're talking to Chuck. We go up to him and we're like, look, we want to know the details. Tell us your experiences working here. Tell us the craziest thing that's happened to you. We want to know all of the details. And his face lit up. He was so excited to tell us these stories. He stood up. He's just like, all right, follow me. So mind you, it's nighttime here. No one else is walking around the hotel. It's completely silent. All the lights are mostly off. And they have a cute little dining room. They have a little... I'll try and insert video. I didn't get much video, honestly. It was dark. 2, I was just in the moment. I need to get better about that. But we were just kind of enjoying his stories, and I honestly didn't get much footage at all from this trip. Chuck takes us into the dining room. And it's all cute. There's maybe like 6 or 7 little tables, all set with tablecloths and little, the whole everything going on. He starts to tell us these stories. He says he's been working there for a while. He tells us that he's very, very particular about the way he sets his tables every night. He sets them at night for the breakfast in the morning. He said that one night he was setting a table and he noticed that one of the chairs was missing. And this place is really small, so you can honestly look around and just see that there's a chair missing. There's only 2 chairs per table. So he notices that a chair's missing. He turns around. I guess there's like a little hallway leading up to the closet where all of his supplies are. So he goes and grabs a chair for this table, puts it away, walks back down this little hallway to go get some dishes or whatever. And he said it was just enough for him to walk through. He turns around and the missing chair is sitting there in the hallway, along with the chair that he just put back. So now there's 3 chairs at this table. And he said literally you wouldn't be able to walk past this entryway without tripping over this chair. Literally turns around, there's a chair there. Okay. He also said that he's had times where he turns around and like a plate is missing off of one of the tables, and he turns back around and there's another one there, and just kind of little, mischievous things like that. Nothing vicious, nothing crazy. He says he can just tell that whatever is there is just there to play games. It wants to be seen, it wants to be known. It's not trying to harm anybody. Chuck tells us his stories. We go walk around the town a little bit. We come back home. We're all getting kind of tired. We honestly just sat in bed and goofed off until like 3 in the morning. So the way our room was laid out, there was a giant bed. It was honestly like 2 twin beds put together. But there was like a mattress topper on top. So the 3 of us could have easily fit in that bed together. But Angelica doesn't really have the best sleep schedule. She stays up all night. She has a hard time falling asleep. And she didn't want to keep me and Gabby awake. Angelica said she was just going to sleep on the couch. So there's the bed. And then the couch is against the wall across from the bed. And then there's a TV in the corner. The TV is pretty much facing the bed in the corner right next to the couch. So before bed, Angelica was just kind of flipping through the TV and she was just like, okay, never mind, there's nothing on. So she was just, there's nothing on TV. She's just like, okay, whatever. She just ended up listening to a podcast on her phone or something. And so she takes the remote and puts it on the TV stand next to the TV. This is an important part of the plot. So me and Gabby end up falling asleep in the bed, and Angelica falls asleep on the couch. We're all in a dead sleep, chilling, nothing going on. So about 6:45 in the morning, me and Gabby wake up to a huge crash in the bedroom. The 2 of us were in a complete dead sleep. Both of us literally shot up, grabbed each other. We were like, what was that? I was too afraid to reach over and grab my phone to shine the flashlight. And luckily she had her phone like right there next to her. So she turns on her flashlight. Angelica's still dead asleep. And I don't know how. I guess it took her a while for her to fall asleep. And once she was out, she was done. Angelica's passed out. We look over. She shines her flashlight in the corner. And the remote control for the TV that, mind you, Angelica had put on the TV stand had flung across the room, hit the wall, fell on the ground. Like, It hit so hard to the point that it woke us up. The back off of the remote had fallen off and all the batteries were just rolling across the floor. No one was near it. Angelica was sleeping. We were in the bed. What? Somehow through all of this, I was definitely freaked out, but I wasn't afraid, if that makes sense. Like, I was shocked. I was like, this is crazy. What is going on? But I honestly wasn't. I wasn't afraid that something was going to mess with us further. So me and Gabby somehow were just like, all right, we're going back to sleep. Because I've personally learned that if you give spirits or whatever is present more attention, that's what it's seeking. And we were honestly just tired. We had to kind of get up early in the morning, so we were like, all right, we're going back to bed. So me and Gabby literally just lay back down. Maybe 10-15 minutes later, Angelica literally just wakes up and goes, did you guys hear that? So in my mind, I'm thinking she's talking about the remote flying across the room and hitting the wall. So we were like, what? I'm almost asleep at this point. And she said that she heard something run, or like it was like smack the wall, or something was right by her head, which her head was on the opposite side of where the TV was. So it couldn't have been the remote flying past her head because that was on the opposite side. It was just all very strange. It literally woke her up out of a dead sleep, which the remote flying across the room didn't wake her up. So she said something smacked the wall or something was over near where her head was. And at that point I was just like, I'm going back to bed. Like, this is it. I'm done. At that point we all just fell back asleep. Woke up the next morning, went to Atlanta, had a great day. That was about it. I don't think I've ever really had something fly across the room with me in the room. I've definitely experienced things flying off the walls from the next room, but I've never actually like had something that close to me just violently fly across the room, smack into the wall, hit the ground, and break. It was just very bizarre. But oh yeah, I almost forgot. So after Chuck tells us all these stories, we're like, okay, we go out and come back, and he said after 10 there wasn't going to be anybody in the lobby. So we came back, it was after 10, no one was around. So we decided to take it upon ourselves to just sit in the lobby and just like in the complete darkness and see if we could feel anything. Honestly, like I said, I didn't feel anything. Nothing happened. We walked around the dining room where he said all the crazy stuff happened, and we still not really anything. So after, 10-15 minutes of us just kind of snooping around and checking out the place, we decided to walk back upstairs to our room. I had to pee really bad, so I was ahead of the girl. They were walking up the stairs behind me, and at the same time both of them whipped their heads back towards the dining room, and they said that they heard dishes clanking together in the dining room. Both of them at the same exact time said the same exact thing and ran up the stairs. I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm going upstairs. I already gotta pee. Let me up. And so we get up to our room and we notice that the bathroom light was on. So when you turn on the bathroom light and sometimes there's like a fan connected, not like a physical ceiling fan, but like the shower bathroom fan. I don't know how to explain that. That was going on full blast when we got back to our room. And I know for a fact that we did not turn that on before we left. So that was kind of just strange in itself. I specifically remember because I have one of those bathroom fans in my bathroom, and the sound of it weirdly just stresses me out and makes me really anxious of that sound. So I know for a fact I didn't turn it on because that sound bothers me to leave on. So we get up back to our room, that's on. Right after we hear these dishes clanking. No room service didn't come in because it was literally late. No one else was working in the hotel. So, I don't know. Someone tell me what they think about the situation. Honestly, I just had a wonderful time staying at this place. Literally everyone that worked there was so sweet. Shout out to Chuck. I will definitely be going back. So for my second part of this story time, I wanted to say a few days ago, Cameron surprised me with a little mini getaway to St. Augustine. Let me tell you, he is not the ghost hunting type. He is not the paranormal story time, he's not into it. And he surprised me with a ghost tour. The two of us went on a ghost tour, and it was I believe it was through Ripley's Believe It or Not, I think. So this was one of those like paid ghost tours. They take you to a few different places. They gave us the EMF readers and the little like laser pointer things. And there was just like a decent group. I think she said there were 13 of us. We rode out on a trolley. We had 3 different stops. So our first stop was, sorry, there's a bug. So our first stop was an abandoned, I don't really know the history of this place too well. She said it was an abandoned old museum, and they had it set up to where it was obviously set up for the ghost tour. They had all of these huge paintings on the walls of all of the historic said ghosts that roam through St. Augustine, and she kind of told us the stories of each one. And we were allowed to just kind of wander about ourselves. I honestly didn't really have much going on with my reader there. Everything was pretty normal. We went over to a cemetery. Honestly, nothing super crazy over there either. My reader was pretty normal. I will say there were a few people in our group who did not understand how EMF readers work. They react to electromagnetic frequencies. So if you hold it against your phone, it's gonna go off. All throughout the night, we had a few people who were taking photos, which our tour guide encouraged us to take photos throughout the night. But they were trying to take photos of their surroundings, and they're holding their phone in the same hand as their EMF readers, and they're literally just beep, 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 going off. And they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much activity here. And I'm just like, do you not understand how it works? Anyways, we get back on the trolley. We go to our final stop, which was at the museum, the Ripley's, believe it or not. And this place has a lot more history than I realized. This was the place. So we get in there, it's after hours, the museum is closed. It's completely pitch black in there. Our tour guide is literally walking us through this creepy, it's already creepy during the day, and the lights are completely off. She has a little lantern, and this little lady is just walking us around. So we're standing in the lobby, and this is where she decides to tell us some of the history of Ripley's, which I had no idea. Apparently there had been 2 murders back in the 40s. It used to be a hotel. There were 2 murders within the building on the 2nd floor, I'm wanting to say. There was a man, he murdered 2 women. He dragged their bodies across the banisters, so she kind of walked us through all of that, and he wrapped them up in towels and put them in the bathtubs. Yeah, creepy. Had no idea that that was part of the history. Backtrack a little bit. Before we even get upstairs, everyone is standing in the lobby in the dark, and she's kind of telling us the stories. I look down, and my EMF reader, literally, like, the entire night it hadn't spiked more than maybe 0.4, 0.5, like that was kind of the max. It literally just, I'm standing there, nothing around me, my phone is in my pocket. It literally just spikes up to like 1.2, and my temperature is just like going up and down like crazy because it tracks electromagnetic frequency around you, any changes in that, and then it also detects if there's any changes in temperature. So my temperature is literally going up and down, freaking out, and then it just spikes up the highest I've seen it. And I slowly grab my phone, and I'm trying to hold it far away from it so I can get some video of this. And the second I hit record, it goes down to 0 and everything goes away. So, I didn't get any of that, but I did get a little bit of some of the spiking afterwards. But the second I hit record, straight to 0. Temperature back to normal. Weirdest thing. So, we're walking through the building, literally by her little lantern, and she walks us into a few different rooms. Everything's fine. I'm just listening to her stories. She encourages everyone to get photo and video of their surroundings if they can like catch anything, which I don't really know how much I believe in finding orbs and all these things, because I just see it could either be dust, it could be lens flares, it can be light bouncing off of mirrors. Like, I do believe in some of it to an extent, but I think a lot of it can be debunked. The perks of dating a photographer, he teaches me a lot with what, you know, those things could actually be. So they were definitely encouraging you to try and find orbs. I walk into this one room and I just feel pressure on my chest. Like, I honestly felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like somebody was like physically pushing on my chest, and I just had like a weird spike of anxiety, and I was just like trying to like slowly breathe, and I'm kind of like backing into Cameron, like trying to like get some comfort, and I'm just sitting there like trying to, you know, control my breathing, kind of looking around to see if like anybody else is like acting weird, and I just felt this weird heaviness in the room, and it was the strangest thing. I felt it before, but this was really intense. I'm just listening to her story, and at the end of her story she decides to say, Oh yeah, so this room has a lot of history of people saying that they feel pressure on their chest and have heaviness breathing and spikes of anxiety. What? So I literally look at Cameron and I'm like, that's exactly what I'm feeling right now. I know I sound crazy. I don't care if anyone believes me or not, but that is exactly what I was feeling in this moment. And she just confirmed it for me. And I look around and like no one's really reacting, so I don't know if I was the only one that felt it. It was just very strange. And it took the rest of the tour for me to kind of get back into the groove, get my breathing back to normal, get the heaviness off my chest, but it was only in that room. Like I felt fine everywhere else. Like the rest of the tour, I was feeling a little uneasy just because of what happened in that room, but that was it. Like that was confirmation, like, all right, there's something here. Definitely a lot to handle. I believe she said that's where the actual murder happened, or at least one of the murders happened in the room where I felt the pressure, but I didn't feel anything in the other room. Like I didn't feel anything else. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't really know how to debunk it, but that was my experience. I definitely recommend the Ripley's After Hour Ghost Tour in St. Augustine, Florida. It was only like $25. You get 3 destinations. You get to go on a trolley, cemetery, abandoned museum, and then you get to walk around Ripley's after hours in the dark. So yeah, that's about it for now. I will definitely be back with more stories. Not trying to have like an hour-long video of me talking about everything all at once, so I'll leave you guys with these 2 stories for now. Thank you for hanging out. Let me know if you want more. If you have any questions, definitely leave comments, send me messages, whatever. Feel free to reach out if you've had any similar experiences. I kind of would love to share other people's experiences too. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back soon.